Thank you for tuning in and welcome back. In this 6-part video series on bioenergy, I would like to give you an introduction to energy production from biomass. In this 6th and last episode, Criticism of Bioenergy, following a brief introduction, we will discuss the following points. Point 1. Morally motivated points of criticism, like too precious, too valuable for energy. Point 2. Technically motivated points of criticism, like outdated, inefficient, unnecessary, dirty. Third point. Climate protection motivated points of criticism, like carbon debt to carbon bomb. Point 4. Environmental protection motivated points of criticism, like deforestation, biodiversity loss, overexploitation. Let's start. Biomass is used to generate energy in very different ways around the world. Examples range from the Inuit animal oil lamp to aviation fuel made from agricultural residues, from barbecue fires to modern condensing boilers. If biomass is based on technically unsuitable equipment and unsustainable management methods, bioenergy can also have significant negative effects. Therefore, deficiencies and undesirable developments must be avoided. However, positive examples and best practices have to be highlighted as well. Fossil energy companies are investing billions in negative image campaigns to prevent the expansion of renewable energies. As a result, negative examples and misinformation receive a lot of media attention and overshadow the diverse positive effects of renewable energies. These campaigns are working on a highly emotional level, are supported by studies and defended with negative practice examples. Therefore, it is important to maintain an overview and not to evaluate individual examples, but rather general developments. In detail, these campaigns are based on the following approaches. Point 1. Morally motivated points of criticism. Bioenergy is largely a byproduct of forestry, wood and waste management. For special applications, biomasses that are grown for bioenergy applications are also used under certain conditions. Morally motivated points of criticism suggest that bioenergy deprives supposedly more important applications such as the food supply or other renewable energies of raw material and is therefore responsible for hunger and raw material shortages. In fact, bioenergy is the basis for fossil-free food production, bioeconomy and circular economy. It will provide a large part of the energy required for this in the future. Morally motivated points of criticism are particularly well received by very social-oriented groups. Point 2. Technically motivated points of criticism. Modern bioenergy is based on technically very sophisticated solutions that are first, in no way inferior in efficiency to fossil energies and other renewables. 2. Cost-effective, and 3. Have very low emission. The technically motivated points of criticism usually compare old systems or outdated technologies with theoretical future solutions and thus give an impression of an outdated and unnecessary technology. It needs to be stressed that modern biomass systems practically emit no harmful particulate matter, efficient systems make the best possible use of the fuel, and stored energy from biomass is indispensable for the energy transition. In many cases, it is much cheaper to use biomass as needed than to generate volatile energy through the additional expansion of large-scale energy storage such as battery power plants or dams. The technically motivated points of criticism are particularly well received by practically oriented groups such as craftsmen or engineers. Point 3. Climate protection motivated points of criticism. Plant parts that are not used will decay. The previously stored CO2 enters the atmosphere, and climate protection motivated critics argue that the energetic use of bioenergy carbon is released into the atmosphere faster and microorganisms and insects are deprived of food or nutrients. It is sometimes argued that used plants must grow back first before they can have a positive climate protection effect. In fact, plants already have bound CO2 before their use and are therefore climate neutral. Wood stocks are higher in well-maintained forests in Europe than in unused forests, and younger forests sequester more carbon than unused older ones. Aging forests break down carbon and quickly fall victim to bark beetles, wind throws, bacteria and fungi. When using wood, fossil raw materials are saved. The fossil CO2 remains saved must be taken into account in an overall calculation. Climate protection motivated points of criticism are aimed at decision makers and question the CO2 neutrality of bioorganic materials. In other words, the fundamental difference to fossil energies. Point 4. Environmental protection motivated points of criticism. Timber would not be available without the harvesting of trees. Where forests are an important part of a country's economy, they represent a high value for the population and are intensively maintained and protected. Criticism motivated from an environmental protection point of view assumes that use degrades forests. Moreover, use leads to deforestation and deprives the forest and forest organisms of food. There is no doubt that forests must be managed sustainably. In Austria, forests wood is harvested wherever possible and necessary. The proportion of biodiversity promoting dead wood is increasing due to climate-related damage. Native forests are under very strict protection. The environmental protection motivated points of criticism are aimed at classic environmental protection organizations in the NGO sector. Let's summarize this episode. The more successful a technology becomes, the more likely it is to face criticism and negative impacts, especially in areas where its expansion can lead to conflicts. It's important to take opposing arguments seriously, examine them and respond to them if needed. If there are real issues, they should be addressed effectively. The same goes for campaigns against switching to renewable energy, particularly when they oversimplify matters and hinder practical solutions. These campaigns can only be combated with education and facts. I hope our video series has helped provide you with a better understanding of bioenergy, address any concerns you may have, and encourage you to use bioenergy. If you are interested in why bioenergy is CO2 neutral, you can find out more about in the previous episode Bioenergy and Carbon. If you would like to find out more about the content of this video series, we advise you to start with the first episode of the series, Introduction and Content. We are looking forward to reviews and invite you to leave us a comment, suggestions or questions in the comments, or forward it to office@biomasseverband.at. Thank you for watching.